So if you're ever working with an API response or some kind of JSON object and you have a numeric value within all of that, and then you have all of these different objects and you're trying to sort on them, it can be a real headache to try and sort on those to find like the greatest number or the least number. And you can see here, we're looking at what looks like just a bunch of random numbers to you, but it's actually this like count property within this object. I had the task a while back of figuring out how to sort these objects within Thunkable based off this property. And that's what I want to share with you today. So if you're new here, my name is Darren. This is me right here. I'm just a normal guy who likes to learn new things, create things with what I learned, and then share that kind of stuff with other people just like you. So thank you for joining me for this video. And so what I want to do is all of these numbers represent a video on my channel. And what I'm trying to do is find the most liked videos. YouTube tells me my most popular, but that's based off of views. What I want to do is find it based off like counts. In this video, you can look at my last one to figure out how I used the YouTube API and all that good stuff to get all of this random nonsense of JSON. But what I want to do in this one is actually sort based off the like count. So at the end of this video, this list should be sorted from highest to lowest like count. So here's our project. We have a list viewer here, and the blocks is just taking in the list of all of the videos that we got from the YouTube API, and then we're drilling down to the like count here, inserting all of those into a list and then displaying them. Now, actually sorting this data is very, very complex. But what we're actually going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how to cheat and copy what I did in one of these other apps, and you can add it to your app pretty simply. I have this posted, and I'll have this link in the description of this video. I posted this in an article on the Thunkable community. It's my coding challenge sort list of objects. So I'm not going to go through and explain all of this, but basically what we do is we define the property we want to sort on. So for this one, inside of favorite, we wanted to sort on number. And then my algorithm here, which you can see is a lot, goes through and sorts based off that sorting property. So let me show you how to cheat and use this inside of your app. So on this post, you'll see remix, and the first step is to click on that button that says copy. And now you have my example app here inside of your Thunkable account. And what we want to do is save this screen to your saved screens inside of your account. So I'll call this sorted list of objects example. And so now what I can do is come back to the app that I'm working on and add a new screen from my screens that are associated to my account. And the screen I'm going to copy is this one right here, sorted list of objects example. And so now if I come over to this screen, you'll see that it has all of my code from that example app. And I can scoot that up to the top there, and it should refresh over here. And so now you can see that if I press this button, these buttons, it will do the sorting and shuffling, and all of that is behaving like it should inside of your app. So I hope you can see where we're going with this. Basically, we want to strip out all of the stuff that you're not going to use in your app and replace it with the variables and the data specific to your app. So I know for me, I'm not going to be using any of these buttons. So I'm going to delete this whole row of buttons, and then we're left with this list viewer right here. So now I can come over to my blocks and delete anything that has an error on it, because that would be associated to those buttons that we didn't need. And while you're at it, we can probably go ahead and delete some of this other stuff like this example data, the V object we already have defined elsewhere in the app. The same thing with V list. We'll keep V num because we're going to use that. And then this sorted list of objects, or this page, whenever it starts, So let me actually go ahead and rename that list of videos screen. Whenever that starts, we want to call a function. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let me delete that. So now let's actually go through some of the things that we'll need to update. The first thing I want to do is I have this get sorting on property. So this is the value inside of the object that we're going to be sorting on. So all of these vList and vObjects, since I deleted the ones on the screen, we need to reselect them so that Thunkable knows to use the one that was already existing in this app. So to find the property that we want to sort on, we can come back to our list of objects here, and it's going to be the statistics and then in the like count. So the first is statistics and then like count. And we did this in the previous video if you were with me for that. And you'll notice here that I'm multiplying it by 1, and that's because in the JSON response, it is treated as a text value and not a numeric value. So multiplying it by 1 inside of Thunkable will make Thunkable treat it as a number. And so now we're sorting on the like count. So I'm going to go through and mark all of these as the correct view list. And so now let's see what happens whenever we call display list and we pass in the list of video JSON objects from the last video. Awesome. Okay, so I know you may not know, but these are the correct numbers, 46, 10, 94. This is what we were seeing before, but you can see that it appends this string up on the front, and that's because here I'm joining some stuff from the example. So if I just do this, it will display those numbers there. So it's displaying this list, but now I want to display the sorted list. So instead of just displaying the list, we throw in another function here called getSortedList. And so getSortedList sorts our list here. So we can see in our list viewer, it's all sorted all the way down to our last video. But remember, I want to see my most liked videos. So we need some way to sort this in reverse, or from the largest to the smallest. And of course, I have you hooked up for that already because I already have a function called reverse sort. And so I can come to my functions and drop reverse sort in between the sorted list and the display list, and that should sort things in reverse. And so there you go. So now I have 393. That's my most likes I've ever gotten on a video, sorted all the way down. But of course, viewing these like counts, viewing these numbers don't really mean a whole lot. Maybe I want to see what this most liked video was. So instead of showing the like count, let's actually just show the ID and then go to that video when we click on the ID. Looking at our JSON response, instead of using this statistics, let's display the ID property. So here in display list, instead of doing get sorted on property, let's actually use a different property, and we'll call this ID because that's the property we want to show. So now this is the most liked video here, the ID. So now let me generate a URL for each of those when it is clicked. So I'll come to YouTube and grab their sharing URL, and then come back to Thunkable. And whenever an item in the list viewer is clicked, we will open up that URL. So now I can come to open link, and we will join two pieces of text. The first will be the first part of YouTube's sharing URL, and the second part will be the item that we just clicked. So now whenever I click on one of these, it should open up the video inside of YouTube. So now I can click on this top one here, and it will open up the YouTube app, and we can see that the most liked video is creating a beautiful app, this Thunkable design challenge, and it has a total of 393 likes, which if you recall from earlier was the most liked video count. But the truth is, again, this still does not look like a pretty app. It's just a list of video IDs. So how do we take this and turn it into this, where we actually see the thumbnails for the videos and we can click on them, and it's only showing the top 10 most liked videos. For that, you'll have to stick around to the next video where I show you how to create this custom data viewer grid. I'm showing you that in the next video. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in that one.